Hi everyone, it's Duchess. So I'm gonna be honest with you, I was seriously behind on the whole retro gaming thing. Like, embarrassingly late, both in terms of actual time and just life stuff. Being an early 2000s kid is awesome, don't get me wrong. I'm really happy I got to experience the 2010s while growing up, but it meant I was clueless about most of gaming's epic history until I hit my preteen years. That's when I finally dove headfirst into the gaming world, going deep into all of Nintendo's big-name franchises. So one of the first games that really resonated with me was Super Mario Bros. On the NES. Now, I wasn't totally clueless about Mario. I mean, I was lucky enough to have a Nintendo DS growing up, but my game collection was pretty slim pickings back then. I did have New Super Mario Bros. Though, so I figured jumping into Super Mario Bros. 3 would be kinda similar, just way more old school. The moment I started playing, I knew this game has something extra. There was this vibe to it that I couldn't quite put my finger on. It was like trying to describe a color you'd never seen before. But as I got older, it finally clicked. This game was straight up greatness. So that's why we're here today. We're gonna dig into what made this game such a cultural phenomenon. But we can't just jump straight into it. First, we gotta rewind the clock and check out the backstory of this game and what was going down in the gaming world when it dropped. Because all of this stuff was key in making this game blow up like it did. So grab your leg warmers and your Walkman, cause we're taking a trip back to the 80s. When development for Super Mario Bros. 3 began in 1986, the video game industry was in a state of recovery and transformation. The infamous crash of 1983 has shaken the North American market, but Nintendo's entrance with the Nintendo Entertainment System in 1985 was breathing new life into home console gaming. The first Super Mario Bros. Released in 1985 had become a runaway success, selling over 40 million copies worldwide. It had quickly established itself as a cornerstone of the NES library. This astronomical sales figure was partly due to the game's inclusion with NES hardware in many regions, effectively making it the pack-in game that introduced millions to the world of Mario. Nintendo's approach to sequels in this era revealed the complexities of cross-cultural game development and marketing. The Japanese version of Super Mario Bros. 2, later known in the West as The Lost Levels, was deemed too challenging for American audiences. This decision highlighted Nintendo's growing awareness of regional differences in gaming preferences and skill levels. In response to this challenge, Nintendo took an unusual approach for the Western release of Super Mario Bros. 2. They turned to an unrelated game, Yume Kojo Doki Doki Panic, and had series creator Shigeru Miyamoto and his team revamp it with Mario characters and themes. This reskinned version was then released in North America and Europe as Super Mario Bros. 2. The strategy proved successful even if the game was lacking in originality, allowing Nintendo to provide a fresh Mario experience to Western players while avoiding the perceived issues with the original Japanese sequel. As video games gained popularity in the United States, they began to attract more attention, both positive and negative, from the mainstream media and society at large. The industry was experiencing a surge in visibility, with video game characters starting to become recognizable cultural icons. Mario, in particular, was at the forefront of this trend, rapidly becoming one of the most recognizable characters in popular culture, even surpassing Mickey Mouse at one point. The film The Wizard, released in 1989, further cemented Mario's place in popular culture. While not critically acclaimed, this movie about 3 children traveling to Los Angeles for a video game competition served as a significant piece of marketing for Nintendo. What helped Nintendo secure the long-term interest of players was how the film came out after Super Mario Bros. 3 was released in Japan, but before its North American release. This made it an effective tool for building anticipation in the Western market. The Wizard featured what was pretty much just product placement for Super Mario Bros. 3, giving many American viewers their first glimpse of the game. The film's climatic scene, which showcased Super Mario Bros. 3 gameplay, generated a ton of excitement for the upcoming release. When Super Mario Bros. 3 was finally released, it did not disappoint. The game was a commercial success, selling approximately 17 million copies worldwide. What set Super Mario Bros. 3 apart was this developer's commitment to innovation rather than repeating the same formula from their first 2 attempts. According to Hideki Kono, one of the designers of Super Mario Bros. 3, the team's approach was not to adhere to an established Mario formula. In an interview with former Nintendo president Satoru Iwata, Kono revealed that during the development process, they were actively seeking ways to change and evolve the Mario experience rather than simply preserving what had worked before. This approach of prioritizing innovation over established norms was risky for its time. The video game industry of the late 1980s was still recovering from the crash earlier in the decade. It would have been a reasonable decision for the development team to stick with their guns and continue using the same method that has worked for them before in the past, but they didn't do that. Instead, the development team chose to push boundaries and reimagine what a Mario game could be. And this is what I believe gives Super Mario Bros. 3 the it factor. The result was a game that introduced numerous new elements to the series, such as the overworld map, the ability to fly with the Tanuki Mario upgrade, and a wide variety of suits that dramatically altered gameplay. These innovations, combined with masterful level design and charming aesthetics, created an experience that felt both familiar and refreshingly new to players. The game has an undeniable charm to it, introducing what are now commonplace features in not only Mario games, but other platformer games that we play today. The vibrant colors and catchy music pushed the NES technology to the limit, which was exactly what Nintendo needed at that time when competition was starting to take shape in the form of another up-and-coming video game company from Japan. People were saying that Nintendo was falling behind in terms of technology, but this just wasn't true. With the NES nearing the end of its lifespan, developers were already well versed with the technology given to them and learned by this point how to push the hardware to its limits, giving it a technological edge that just wasn't seen during the early days of the console's life. In the gaming world, Super Mario Bros. 3 set new standards for platform game design. Its overworld map system, which allowed players to choose their path through the game, influenced countless games that followed. This concept can be seen in modern titles like Cuphead and various indie platformers that use similar world progression systems. The level design philosophy of Super Mario Bros. 3, which introduced a concept or mechanic and then built upon it throughout a stage, has become a fundamental principle of good game design. This approach was modernized in games like Celeste and Shovel Knight. Even decades after its release, Super Mario Bros. 3 continues to influence game design in various ways. The first notable re-release came in 1993 with Super Mario All-Stars for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. This collection featured a 16-bit remake of Super Mario Bros. 3 along with other classic Mario titles. The remake boasted enhanced graphics and sound, taking advantage of the SNES's superior hardware capabilities while maintaining the original gameplay. In 2003, Nintendo brought Super Mario Bros. 3 to a handheld platform with Super Mario Advance 4 Super Mario Bros. 3 for the Game Boy Advance. This version was based on the All-Stars remake, but included additional features such as the e-reader support, which allowed players to scan cards to unlock new levels and power-ups. The advent of digital distribution opened new avenues for re-releasing classic games. Super Mario Bros. 3 has been made available on various virtual console services across multiple Nintendo platforms. It appeared on the Wii Virtual Console in 2007, the Wii U Virtual Console in 2014, and the 3DS Virtual Console in 2016. These releases allowed new generations of players to experience the classic game on modern hardware. In 2018, Super Mario Bros. 3 found a new home on the Nintendo Switch as part of the Nintendo Switch Online service. This version emulates the original NES game, providing a faithful recreation of the classic experience while adding modern conveniences like save states and online play. The game has also been included in various compilation releases. Notable among these is the NES Classic Edition console released in 2016, which came preloaded with Super Mario Bros. 3 along with other NES classics. Each of these re-releases and ports has introduced Super Mario Bros. 3 to new audiences while allowing longtime fans to revisit the beloved game. The various versions have catered to different preferences, from those seeking a nostalgic, authentic experience to those appreciating updated visuals and additional features. This game is absolutely timeless, and the sheer number of remasters and ports it has spawned stands as irrefutable proof of its enduring appeal. But the magic of Super Mario Bros. 3 goes far beyond its surface-level charm. This game is riddled with secrets, hidden just out of sight, waiting to be discovered by curious and persistent players. Just when you think you've mastered a level, chances are there's a concealed warp pipe lurking out of bounds ready to whisk you from World 1 straight to World 8 if you're clever enough to find it. It's this depth of design and wealth of hidden content that keeps players coming back time and time again. The game possesses an ageless quality that has maintained interest since its international release, bridging generational gaps and defying the march of technological progress. Super Mario Bros. 3 represents the pinnacle of what Mario, Nintendo, and the NES have to offer. A perfect storm of accessibility, depth, and pure unadulterated fun. Perhaps this is why Super Mario Bros. 3 has managed to captivate players so completely. It's an experience that hooks you from the moment you start playing. The clever level design, the charming aesthetics, the pitch-perfect controls, all these elements come together to create something truly special. It's a game that feels both familiar and constantly surprising, a balancing act that few titles have managed to replicate. For all these reasons and more, Super Mario Bros. 3 stands as the Mario title that has almost effortlessly tricked everyone into falling head over heels in love with it. It stopped being just a game a long time ago. This is a cultural touchstone, a masterpiece of game design, and a timeless classic that continues to inspire and delight players decades after its initial release. And that's my take on this. Thank you for watching the video. If you're someone who loves exploring the depths of the gaming community, hit that subscribe button below and turn on notifications by clicking the bell icon. See you guys later.